Yashtika Acharya was born in 2007 in Bikaner, Rajasthan, India, and she was known as a junior national games gold medalist in powerlifting, competing in the sub-junior 84 kilograms plus category. She died on February 18, 2025, at the age of 17 in Bikaner, Rajasthan, after a 270-kilogram barbell fell onto her neck during a squat attempt at her gym. On the evening of February 18, 2025, she was training at Power Headquarters Gym under her coach's supervision, and had already completed heavy sets before preparing for another maximal squat. The barbell was loaded to approximately 270 kilograms and positioned high across her upper shoulders and neck, and she stepped under it, braced, and straightened her legs to lift it off the rack hooks as the full load compressed down onto her spine. She began stepping backward to clear the rack, but the floor had layered mats placed to adjust height, and as she moved her right foot back it landed near the edge of a mat, instantly shifting her balance as her ankle rolled slightly and her torso tilted backward. The bar, sitting high on her neck, shifted forward with a change in angle, and the massive weight forced her head downward as she tried to correct her stance. But within seconds her legs gave way under the uneven footing and extreme load. She stumbled backward, and the trainer standing behind her reached out to support the bar. But the combined momentum and 270-kilogram weight were too heavy to control, and as she fell, the barbell rolled forward off her shoulders and crashed directly onto the back of her neck, driving her head sharply forward and causing catastrophic cervical spine trauma. The impact pinned her to the floor until nearby gym members rushed in and lifted the bar off within moments, but she was motionless. Her coach immediately began CPR while emergency services were called, and she was transported to a nearby hospital without visible response. Despite rapid medical attention, doctors declared her dead shortly after arrival, and police later confirmed her neck had broken due to the force of the falling barbell, with no equipment malfunction reported. The trainer sustaining minor injuries during the failed attempt to stop the fall, and after a post-mortem examination her body was handed over to her family. The entire incident unfolding in only a few seconds from unracking the bar to the fatal impact. Ariatna Lizeth Esparza was born in 2002 in Torreon, Coahuila, Mexico, and she was a 22-year-old nursery school teacher who often shared her workouts and her love for animals on social media. She died on August 16, 2024, at the age of 22, inside a gym in Torreon, Mexico, after collapsing during barbell squats due to anoxaemia followed by an acute, non-traumatic cerebral hemorrhage and generalized thromboembolism. On the afternoon of August 16, 2024, Ariatna was training at her local gym in Torreon, a city located about 3,600 feet above sea level, where oxygen levels are lower than at sea level. She began a leg workout that included barbell squats, positioning the loaded bar across her upper back, bracing her core, and lowering into repeated squat motions. As witnesses later said, nothing initially appeared unusual, just another intense set under strain. During heavy exertion, the body consumes more oxygen, and at higher altitude the demand increases, and as she continued the set her breathing reportedly became labored, her body using oxygen faster than it could adequately circulate it through her blood. Inside her bloodstream, oxygen levels dropped sharply, a condition known as anoxaemia, reducing supply to vital organs, especially the brain. As she pushed through the repetition, blood pressure likely spiked under strain, and within seconds the oxygen deprivation triggered a catastrophic chain reaction. Blood vessels in her brain ruptured, causing an acute, non-traumatic cerebral hemorrhage, while abnormal clot formation, generalized thromboembolism, obstructed blood flow further. Witnesses said she suddenly stopped mid-movement and collapsed straight to the floor in front of other gymgoers. The barbell no longer under control as her body went limp. She did not attempt to brace her fall, did not reach out, she simply dropped. People rushed toward her immediately as she lay unresponsive on the gym floor, showing no purposeful movement. Emergency services were called within minutes, but by the time paramedics arrived, she had no detectable vital signs. Attempts were made to revive her at the scene, but there was no response, no regained consciousness, and she was pronounced dead inside the gym. A post-mortem examination later confirmed the sequence: severe oxygen deficiency in the blood leading to brain hemorrhage and widespread clot formation, explaining how intense exertion under those conditions turned a routine squat set into a fatal systemic collapse within moments, the entire event unfolding suddenly and without warning in the middle of her workout. Delrie Rosario was born in 1987 and was a 36-year-old mother of 4 in Kent, Washington. She died on July 22, 2023, one day after a treadmill accident at an LA Fitness gym. On the morning of July 21, 2023, Delrie was jogging on a treadmill next to her sister Marissa Woods during a routine workout. The treadmill was running at a moderate speed, and Delrie, moving with her usual rhythm, reached forward to slow it down. As she tried to adjust the speed, her foot caught slightly on the treadmill belt, causing her to misstep. In that instant, her balance shifted forward, her torso pitched downward, and her face slammed against the moving treadmill's front edge. The force of the impact caused her to collapse instantly, striking the front frame and belt of the treadmill simultaneously, while her head and upper body absorbed the full momentum. Marissa, running beside her, watched in horror as Delrie went down and immediately lost consciousness. Panicked, Marissa flipped her sister onto her back and began screaming for anyone in the gym to help, shouting, "Anybody, somebody please help. Can anyone do CPR?" 2 bystanders rushed over and began performing CPR, while other gym-goers froze in shock. The treadmill continued running in the background as emergency services were called. Within minutes, paramedics arrived and took over CPR, placing Delrie onto a stretcher and rushing her to a nearby hospital. During transport, she remained unresponsive. At the hospital, doctors discovered severe bleeding in the brain caused by the blunt trauma from the treadmill collision. Despite immediate medical intervention, her condition did not improve, and she never regained consciousness. On July 22, 2023, 24 hours after the accident, Delrie Rosario was pronounced dead. The entire sequence, from misstep to impact, collapse, CPR attempts, and transport, happened in seconds, leaving her family and witnesses in shock. Posthumously, her organs were donated, saving 5 other lives. But the accident itself was ruled a tragic, freak occurrence with no evidence of foul play, and no equipment malfunction was reported. Nayeli Clemente was a 24-year-old Mexican athlete and physical therapist who tragically died on May 3, 2025, after collapsing during a high-intensity endurance event in 96-degree heat in San Andres Cholula, Mexico. But how did this happen? On May 2, 2025, Nayeli was competing in the Team Pyramid Run at the Cholula Games, a grueling relay-style fitness challenge where teammates run increasingly longer distances under extreme conditions. As the sun blazed overhead, her body temperature rose rapidly, forcing her heart to pump faster to move blood to her skin, while dehydration and electrolyte loss began silently disrupting her cardiovascular system. Halfway through one of the longer runs, she started struggling to breathe, her steps faltered, and she appeared dizzy, yet she pushed forward through the pain. Suddenly, she collapsed onto the course, unresponsive, as spectators and teammates rushed her aid. A doctor in the crowd immediately began CPR, trying to restore her pulse as she lay motionless, while the event's medical team struggled to access the area quickly, and reports later confirmed she had suffered a sudden stroke followed by cardiac arrest, stopping blood flow to her brain and vital organs. Emergency responders loaded her into an ambulance and transported her to a private hospital, where doctors worked through the night to stabilize her. But the prolonged interruption of oxygen and blood supply had caused severe organ damage. Despite intensive care, her heart and body could not recover from the extreme strain, and she was pronounced dead the following day, May 3, 2025. What began as a competitive endurance race turned fatal within hours, as heat stress, exhaustion, stroke, and cardiac arrest combined in a sequence of events that tragically ended the life of a young, vibrant athlete who had dedicated herself to fitness and healing others.